So I went yesterday and did something I thought I would never do. I bought a selfie stick, also known as a narcissist's companion, something like that. I don't consider myself to be a narcissist, but I just thought I could get some really cool camera angles.
Taxi!
So I'm sitting here with my selfie stick, feeling like a fool, in front of George's Happy Hog Barbecue in the shadow of the Capitol. Some amazing barbecue, by the way, right over there. It is really incredible stuff. And it's 8:30 in the morning. I have to be at the cab company at 9 o'clock to pay my weekly cab payment. And so I'm just wasting a little bit of time. It's been a good day so far. Bought this selfie stick yesterday, and we went to the zoo because yesterday was Sunday, and I thought I'd get a lot of great footage of God's creation. You know, God reveals Himself through the glory of His creation, and so I just love things at the zoo. And the kids, we had so much fun. And I'm going to play some of that footage for you, but the problem is I didn't know how to work a selfie stick, so I plugged in the camera, the little adapter deal there, to the camera, and didn't realize that I wouldn't record any audio whatsoever if I did that. So I got home and I was looking and I was like, oh, this is so beautiful, such really cool footage, and no audio. So, but you know, hey, I'll put some really awesome music to it. It'll be cool. So, wanted to talk real quick of a different side of Uber versus taxi round two, is first off the customer's experience. As a customer, yes, it's cheaper, and that's understandable. I understand why you might choose to go that route. As a driver, of course, that means that it doesn't pay you as well. So there is that aspect to it that we should all think about. There's a lot of wind out here. I'm getting inside. I'm not coming back inside because I feel foolish holding the selfie stick. That's not it at all. So yes, you have the aspect of affordability. Of course, as a driver, it's not affordable. Now, if you work it right and you have a big vehicle and maybe a luxury vehicle or at least a 6-passenger van, and you work the surges and things like that, then yeah, you could probably do well. But in reality, I just don't see it as a full-time job, and we discussed that in the last video. But as a customer, it's attractive to be able to go places cheaply, affordably, I should say. From my perspective, knowing how crazy dangerous it is out here for drivers and passengers alike, it is so, I mean, the people don't know how to drive. You know, that makes it, to me, a little bit, I would be wary. Although I know my mother-in-law drives for Uber. I know some good drivers out there who are, you know, reliable. But the thing with Uber is that they do a background check. They don't do a drug test. They don't do a physical. You know, I'm sorry, not everything comes up in a background check. So we don't know who's driving you around out there. They could be a really, really horrible driver. Could be somebody who's hopped up on meth. You just don't know. And as a customer that is I don't know, it would be a little bit scary for me. Round 2, Uber versus taxi. I would say, I still have to say that I couldn't do it from a customer's perspective either. I would pay the extra money for the taxi simply because there's a little bit more assurance. We are professional drivers. You know, to get a taxi license, it takes a lot. It's expensive, and it takes a lot to get it. We go through some thorough vetting. So there's that. Now, I will say that Uber has been good for us. People have asked me, that's the number one question I get, how has Uber affected you? And I have to say that we have lost our high-end crowd, our hipsters and beyond, our wealthy crowd. We've lost a lot of them. And we've lost our bar crowd, and we've lost our college crowd. So if you were used to working those areas, then yeah, you have reason to be upset. But I don't work those areas anyway. I don't like working bars. I don't like drunk people in my car. There's more problems than it creates. And it's not like I can speak into their lives and help them understand how to change their lives for the better. When you're intoxicated, you're not receiving anything. So it just doesn't bother me. You know, I like wealthy people and poor people alike. I try not to see differences. Unfortunately, there are differences. In my experience, wealthy people don't tip very well, and they're oftentimes very rude. Although it's wrong to speak in generalities. There are a lot of great wealthy people out there. So I work on the south side of town, more Midwest City, Yukon, and I do well. So, and in the end, from my perspective, God is my provider, not the business. So whether the business is good or bad doesn't make a difference to me. Whether we've lost certain aspects of our clientele, it doesn't really bother me because God is my provider. I can tell you that from a positive side, Uber has really, really helped us because before Uber, we didn't have these fancy tablet systems, this dispatch system, where things are a lot safer with it and things are a lot more streamlined. We have GPSs built in, which just makes things so much easier. I don't have to think anymore. I push a button, and I mean, the next step, of course, is you're getting rid of me, and the car's going to drive itself, and that's already happening. But for now, this is an awesome system. Before this system, it was all radio dispatch. They had this big, huge map on the board with little pins, and you had to radio in and say, I'm in this area, and they would put a pin there, and it was just crazy and antiquated. I'm talking about 3 years ago it was this way, 4 years ago, however long it was. And you're like, okay, guys, we are in the 21st century, get with the program. But we didn't get with the program until Uber came along and made us step up our game. And it's caused us to do better, to have cleaner cars, to be nicer to our customers. And it's either that or we lose the business. And the thing is, it comes from the top down. The drivers themselves are going to do whatever they can get away with. The management has to say, we need to be nice, we need to be friendly, clean your car. And the management has realized that they are losing business because Uber is doing all of these things, and we're losing business to Uber because Uber has done better with their dispatch system. They've done better with the cleanliness and the favorability, I suppose, due to their rating system of their drivers. And so how do we change that? Well, the management starts to finally get on the ball and say, hey, listen, guys, you need to get your act together. And because of Uber, we have improved enormously. And so I like Uber. I think, does Uber win? If we're going to rate Uber simply on how it has affected the business of transportation, livery, I would say Uber wins in that case. So Uber won. I still would never drive for Uber.
Taxi!
My dad said if you don't subscribe, he's going to cry. What's subscribe mean? Yeah, I really don't know what it is.